we're very happy to entertain a discussion if you'd like, if anybody would like to say something. There's Chris. Well, you and I can talk about a case that we were in together, and we were dead set against a case that was presented. I mean, we had sort of chatted about it briefly as we entered the court, and we went in and we gave counsel a torrid time, a really torrid time. And sorry?
So as part of your politeness.
Yeah. We gave counsel a really torrid time. And then there was something that counsel said. And we both looked at each other almost at the same time. And we thought, damn, we got it wrong. And we went back into chambers, and we, as the discussion unfolded, we'd seen it wrong all along. And I don't know that it's, I understand it, Chris. I think that it's often very difficult because you've read the heads, you've sort of steeped in it. You look at each other when you're sitting on the bench. A colleague might nudge you and say, well, isn't that just nonsense? And then you go on, and so you sort of almost fortify an existing view. But I can genuinely tell you that there have been many times when people have changed their minds, and I think that the discussion helps in chambers. Certainly, the discussions in the panels that I've sat is that everybody, we have, when I first came to the SCA, it used to be going back to, I think, Harris' case, when they had no discussion about anything because of the political lines that had been drawn way back. And so when we came and we wanted, it was myself, Cameron, Nugent, Mpati, and Mtiani that came to the SCA. It was a whole new phenomenon that we now wanted to discuss the substance, because you'd have a discussion immediately after a case, and you'd go around the table in order of seniority, and everyone would say how they saw it, and they'd say why they saw it that way. There'd be no extended discussion, and people would then write the way they explained. If it was unanimous, they might add a sentence or two. And I can honestly say that when we first came there was a bit of a shock, because we were reared in a very different environment, and we wanted to have discussions, and we wanted to deal with the substance. And since then, I think the discussions are much more extensive. And so you can take it certainly from us. I'd like to hear Nathan's views, but certainly in the panels in which I sit, there's always extensive discussions and contrary views put.
In the past, we had a slightly more rigid system of doing things. And we'd go into conference after the hearing of the appeal, and the presider would go first and express a view, and number two, and number three, and so on. But increasingly, we are now just starting to talk about the case, as opposed to people expressing firm views as to what they think the outcome should be. And perhaps in part that addresses what you've raised, Chris. But I know, I mean, I appreciate that it can be quite daunting when you stand up, you think you've got a good case, and those five fools up there, you have the sense that they've walked into court, they have a firm view, and there's a predetermined outcome. And that is certainly very difficult. I mean, it's like, I suppose, a South African batsman on Indian cricket pitches. and I suppose you feel like every ball is a googly. but let me just try and assure you. I mean, I think as much as we sort of come in to court, and some of us have given careful thought to the matter, and we come in and we may put very forceful views to counsel. Speaking for myself, I still think that I'm inclined to try and keep an open mind to the extent that's possible.
Yeah, going back to the Harris, post-Harris period, all they ever discussed in post-hearing, well, not post-hearing conferences, final edit conferences, so you'd have a final conference at which judgments are finalized, were rules of grammar and syntax. And really, that's all they did, semicolon or colon, comma or not. No, because they couldn't bear to talk about anything else at that time. That's how sort of they were up against each other. But yeah, I mean, one of the other things that's quite curious is, depending, I get the sense more and more that, particularly given people's experiences with me and Nathan, You get people who get up now, and before they start, they say, "Will you let me finish?" And haven't even started. And so it becomes a mantra. And you know, I was taken aback the other day, about sort of 10 times as they started, without anybody interrupting me. "Will you let me?" Yeah, okay, finish. You know, so yeah. Are there any other people who have thoughts?